The gas lamps outside 221B Baker Street struggled against the creeping fog that blanketed London in a pall of mist and shadow. The city seemed to hold its breath beneath the cold autumn sky. The familiar clang of horse-drawn carriages softened to a ghostly echo along the cobblestones. Inside, the modest parlor flickered with the warm glow of a crackling fire. The scent of burning wood mingled with the faint aroma of pipe tobacco and old books. Shadows danced along the patterned wallpaper, shifting as the flames licked the hearth. Sherlock Holmes sat in his favorite high-backed chair, legs crossed, his long fingers clasping a peculiar letter. The envelope was aged, yellowed at the edges, sealed with no mark save a curious symbol drawn in deep black ink. Holmes's sharp eyes traced the strange figures on the parchment inside. A cipher layered with Roman numerals and what appeared to be astrological glyphs, the kind of puzzle that promised hidden danger or urgent secrets. The clock on the mantelpiece chimed 10, its sound muffled by the thick curtains that hung heavy over the windows. A knock at the door interrupted the stillness. Holmes, you sent for me this late. I trust the matter is not of trivial consequence to disturb one's rest.
Watson, the hour is late, but this cipher demands immediate attention. It arrived with instructions to find me without delay. Someone wishes to communicate covertly and with purpose.
A cipher, you say? Show me. Holmes unfolded the letter with deliberate care. E priori! Revealing a series of intricate symbols intertwined with Roman numerals. The sequence VIG 4000 YX VIIX repeated throughout the script, punctuated by ornate signs resembling the zodiac. Whoa! The numbers 14, 9, 6, what meaning could they carry? A date, a time, or perhaps coordinates?
Possibly all three, but the interspersed zodiac signs suggest something far more complex. A secret, language forged to conceal and mislead. These symbols correspond to constellations, visible only under certain conditions, implying a meeting under the night sky, perhaps a rendezvous arranged at a precise time and place.
To what end? Who would risk such secrecy?
That is the question. The letter bears no signature or address, a deliberate omission, marking the sender's confidence in my deduction.
And these zodiac signs, are they merely decorative, or do they hold a more urgent clue?
They form the key, Watson. The constellations are a cipher's compass. When combined with the numerals, they point toward a specific location. The old clock tower near Charing Cross, visible under the constellation of Aquarius tonight.
Our course is clear. We must consult the astronomical charts to decipher fully the sender's intent.
Indeed, the night is young, but the cipher's secret cannot wait.
For hours, Holmes pored over dusty tomes and detailed star maps, cross-referencing the mysterious numerals with the movements of the heavens. His slender fingers traced the lines of longitude and latitude as he worked tirelessly under the flickering candlelight. I sat quietly, chronicling every step with a growing admiration, occasionally offering a suggestion or word of encouragement. And encouragement.
The sequence, Sequoia IXVI, likely indicates the 14th day of the 9th month at 6 hours past midnight, or possibly a reverse arrangement. The zodiac symbols suggest Aquarius and Pisces are of significance, and the old clock tower's position aligns perfectly beneath these stars at midnight tonight.
So the message is a summons, a meeting under the midnight stars at Charing Cross.
Precisely. But such a meeting rarely comes without peril. The clock tower is a place rich in history and shadows.
What dangers do you foresee?
The unknown, Watson. The game we play is always fraught with uncertainty. But it is precisely this unpredictability that owns the detective's skills.
Dressed in our overcoats and scarves, we left the warm glow of Baker Street behind, stepping out into the fog-drenched streets. The night was chill, the mist curling around our boots as we hurried toward the clock tower's looming silhouette. Our breaths formed pale clouds in the icy air. As we neared Charing Cross, the clock tower stood dark and silent, its grey face illuminated only faintly by the gas lamps below. The zodiac constellations twinkled coldly above, their celestial glow casting an ethereal light upon the ancient stone.
Observe, Watson. The clock's hands are set deliberately at 10 minutes to midnight, a subtle hint left by our correspondent.
Hmm.
And the silence here is telling. No ordinary meeting place, this.
Holmes stepped forward, his hand running along the weathered stones of the tower's base. Beneath the great clock face, he found a small, nearly imperceptible latch. With a deft flick, it clicked open, revealing a concealed compartment within the masonry. Inside lay a small, intricately carved wooden box, its surface etched with the same zodiac symbols as the cipher. A message concealed within a message.
Let us see what secrets it holds.
Within, a folded parchment, another letter. Holmes unfolded it carefully, revealing a single, ominous line written in bold script.
To the seeker of truths, beware the shadows you chase. Some secrets are meant to remain in darkness.
A warning or perhaps a threat.
Both, perhaps. The sender wishes to test me and warn me in equal measure.
We stood beneath the clock tower, the weight of the message heavy upon us. Above, the stars shone coldly, indifferent witnesses to a game whose rules were just beginning to unfold.
The midnight cipher is but the first step. Whatever lies ahead will require every ounce of our skill and resolve.
Then we shall meet it head on, as always. And so, beneath the shroud of night and mystery, Sherlock Holmes and I prepared to delve deeper into the shadows of London, into a puzzle that would test not only our intellect, but our very courage. The morning dawned pale and overcast, the fog that had blanketed London throughout the night beginning to lift like a gossamer veil. Yet, despite the brightness filtering through the tall windows of 220 Baker Street, Holmes remained unyielding in his focus. His sharp eyes scanned the cryptic note we had recovered from the clock tower, his mind already turning over possibilities and dangers alike. Outside, the city was waking. Distant carriage wheels clicked rhythmically over cobblestones, vendors hawked their morning wares, and the faint murmur of footsteps echoed down the narrow streets. Within our room, the soft scratching of my pen filled the quiet as I chronicled every discovery. Holmes, have you any theory on who might have sent this message? A criminal, a secret society, or perhaps someone nursing a personal grievance?
The cipher's complexity and the sender's knowledge of the zodiac and London's geography suggest a son of considerable learning. This is no common street thug.
And yet the tone of their warning carries menace. Beware the shadows you chase. What shadows might they mean?
A metaphor, surely. Perhaps a reference to the dangers accompanying forbidden knowledge or the hidden perils lurking in the pursuit of truth.
Holmes rose abruptly and moved to the window, staring out toward the bustling street below. His gaze was distant, as if weighing memories of past cases and whispered warnings from old acquaintances.
This is a challenge, Watson, one that tests our resolve and intellect. The cipher sender is playing a dangerous game, but one they cannot resist sharing with us.
The violin rested in his hands as he played a melancholy melody, set the bow dancing lightly across the strings. His thoughts circled the puzzle relentlessly. I watched silently, waiting for that familiar spark, the sudden insight that would light the way forward.
The clock tower was merely the starting point. The cipher hints at further clues scattered throughout the city, places connected by constellations and the numbers embedded within the message.
Do you mean the zodiac signs correspond to locations?
Precisely. Aquarius led us to Charing Cross. The next constellation is Pisces, which, according to tonight's map, corresponds to an old observatory in Greenwich.
Then it seems our journey continues.
We must prepare for whatever awaits us. Secrets such as these rarely come without guardians or traps.
The day passed in a flurry of preparation. Holmes consulted maps, historical records, and astronomical tables, piecing together a route that would take us to the observatory under the cover of darkness. I gathered my medical supplies and revolver precautions against whatever threats might emerge. As twilight crept over the city, we set out once more. Streets grew quieter, gas lamps flickering to life and casting pools of amber light onto the damp stones. The fog clung to the alleys like a living thing, shrouding our footsteps. The journey to Greenwich was uneventful save for the eerie feeling of unseen eyes tracking our progress. Holmes's expression was inscrutable, though I noticed the tightening of his jaw and the restless tapping of his fingers against his knee. When we arrived, the observatory loomed like a forgotten sentinel against the dim sky. Its great dome rose above us, the telescope within poised toward the heavens. Thallic vines clung to the stone walls, the structure worn with age yet still proud.
Note the alignment, Watson. The observatory's axis corresponds with the stars of Pisces, a deliberate placement. A deliberate placement.
And the cipher?
The numbers, this IX, this I again. But here they seem to indicate a time. 6 minutes past 9 on the 14th day of the month, a precise moment.
Holmes approached the heavy wooden door and found it locked, but not securely. With practiced ease, he picked the lock and slipped inside. The air smelled faintly of dust and forgotten dreams. The interior was dimly lit by oil lamps, shadows stretching long across polished wooden floors and brass instruments. Holmes's eyes scanned every detail, seeking the next piece of the puzzle.
The message speaks of shadows. This place holds secrets buried beneath layers of time and dust.
He moved toward a tall cabinet filled with charts and scrolls. Among them, he discovered a small box marked with the same zodiac glyphs as before. Opening it, he found a delicate key and a folded note.
The final step lies beneath the waters of the Thames, where the stars cast no light.
Right, the waters.
The sender's warning echoes again. The river holds secrets, but we must be wary. The darkness beneath is not just of water, but of human intent.
With the key in hand, we left the observatory, the weight of the cryptic message heavy upon us. The night deepened, the city's heartbeat slowing as if holding its breath for the coming revelation.
The midnight cipher has led us to a crossroads. Soon the truth will surface, or sink beneath the river's dark embrace.
Whatever shadows await Holmes, we shall face them as we always do, together. And so, beneath the indifferent gaze of the stars and the restless whisper of the River Thames, we prepared for the final act, a confrontation with mysteries as deep and dark as the London fog itself. The night had fully claimed London by the time Holmes and I reached the banks of the River Thames. A chill wind swept through the narrow alleys leading to the water's edge, carrying the distant cries of night birds and the low murmur of the restless current. Gas lamps flickered uncertainly, their light trembling in the thick fog that hugged the river banks like a spectral cloak. The old dockyards lay deserted, their timbers creaking softly in the silence. Shadows clung to every corner, the perfect veil for secrets long buried beneath the murky waters.
Watson, this is where the cipher ends. Beneath these waters lies the final clue, hidden by one who understands both the stars and the darkness.
Do you believe the key we found at the observatory will unlock this mystery?
It must. The folded note warned of truths submerged and shadows to beware. Every step we have taken leads here.
Holmes's gaze was steady as he directed me toward a weathered boathouse. Its wooden door, swollen from moisture, bore the familiar zodiac symbols we had come to recognize. With the key, Holmes carefully unlocked the entrance, revealing a narrow staircase descending into the murky depths below the pier. I trust you have a plan, Holmes.
Always my friend, but caution will be our greatest ally tonight.
We descended into the damp cellar beneath the dock. I grew heavier and colder with each step, the faint light of an oil lamp mounted on the wall casting eerie shadows that flickered like living things. The sound of dripping water echoed through the cavernous space. Holmes's eyes scanned the room. Crates stacked high, coils of rope, and an old wooden chest adorned with the same mysterious lifts as the letters. His fingers traced the markings, deciphering the subtle hints carved into the wood.
This chest is the final repository. Within it lies the truth our correspondent wished to reveal.
And yet, the warning still rings clear. Beware the shadows you chase. Slowly, Holmes opened the chest, revealing a collection of documents, maps, and a small sealed vial containing a strange dark liquid. Among the papers, Holmes found a faded photograph, a portrait of a man, stern and resolute, his eyes seeming to follow us.
To the seeker of truths, you stand on the precipice of revelation. The cipher was designed to protect the identity of one who walked the line between justice and darkness.
A confession, perhaps?
Or a plea for understanding. The man in the photograph is, I believe, a former member of the city's clandestine order, one whose loyalty wavered and whose secrets became dangerous.
Holmes carefully examined the vial, the liquid inside swirling like captured shadow.
This, Watson, is a poison, rare and deadly, capable of silencing even the strongest voice, a symbol of the ultimate price paid for secrecy.
Then the cipher was a warning, a call to stop before it's too late. Holmes folded the documents with reverence and replaced them in the chest. The mystery had unfolded before us, but the final truth remained just out of reach, veiled by danger and human frailty.
The midnight cipher was more than a riddle, it was a test, courage, intellect, and moral resolve.
And I believe we have passed it. We ascended from the cellar, emerging once more into the fog-shrouded streets of London. Vast light of dawn was creeping over the horizon, painting the sky in soft shades of rose and gold. Holmes paused, looking out over the river as it flowed steadily toward the sea, a timeless witness to the city's endless secrets.
The shadows will always follow, Watson, but so long as men seek the truth, they will never prevail.
Sopping. And so long as we stand together, Holmes, the night will never fully claim us. With that, we walked back toward Baker Street. The night's adventure folded into the ever-turning pages of our shared history, a story of mystery, courage, and the unyielding light of reason amidst the deepest shadows.